Hello, Paranchape sir. Am I audible? Are you there?
Yeah. Hope I am also audible.
Yes, Paranchape sir, are you there in the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
meeting?
Hope
Okay.
I am also audible.
Yes, yes, you are also audible. But I thought it is Bhavin Darji sir's name is displayed. So
Correct,
I
correct.
was okay, sir. Yes, good afternoon, participants. We are going to start our post-lunch session, which is on embedded platforms for IoT, and it will be covered by uh, Nitin Paranjape sir. He is Managing Director of EduTech Learning Solutions Private Limited, and he has experience of 23 years. He has worked with Diebold Inc. It is a company of IBM for the period of 2 years. He had done his BE in electronics from Maharaja Sayaji Rao University, Baroda. He is currently heading the EduTech Learning Solutions Private Limited, which is engaged in the designing of learning resources and learning management software solutions. He is also contributing towards the embedded systems, DSP, robotic, and AI. He has guided more than 100 projects for undergraduate and MTech programs. He is also the external examiner at Gujarat University, MS University, DDU, and other universities. He has conducted seminars and workshops on embedded engineering at various educational institutes in our country. So we are having with us Nitin Paranjape sir, and I request him to take over the session. Nitin sir.
Thank you very much. Uh, Hope I am audible.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. Uh, uh, is my screen also available?
Yes, sir, screen is visible.
Visible. Okay. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Uh, I hope you are all back. And I was there in your earlier session, Dr. Birdsell's session. Let me just have a small introductory words. I have been knowing Birdsell since last 2 decades. I know him before he joined ISC, and we have been having a very cordial relationship. We have been discussing a lot of technical things because since, as mentioned earlier, we are basically engaged in development of learning resources. So our whole focus was to develop learning content to make these subjects like embedded and all these things very simple. So from time to time, I have been taking a lot of inputs from Bursar, and I am very thankful that he has invited me today to talk about the Internet of Things subject and share a lot of experiences what we have been doing till now. Since I know Bursar, he is a very visionary person, and he thinks a lot of like he thinks about these technologies which are going to come. Correct. So whenever he was experimental during his tenure as a principal of various government colleges, engineering colleges, and even the head of department, he used to always think about a lot of new technologies which would come down in coming days, and had a good discussion on this and introduced those new topics to the students. So whenever we used to have interaction, we had a great chance to interact and come out with a lot of easy way of learning things, which were at that time very difficult and unknown. So I would like to thank Sir as he has given us a chance here, and I would like to have this opportunity to share so many things with you. So our sessions will be starting from today Initially, we will be talking about the Internet of Things related embedded architectures, embedded aspect of Internet of Things, which will be later on followed by my colleague Mr. Bhavin, who will be taking you along with the introductory things of the setups of IoT and then some hands-on demos. Because I know that if you are continuously listening to some lectures, that to a one-way lecture and a remote one, it will be very disturbing or it will not be enjoying. So we have thought of showcasing you some hands-ons, which will be very useful for you to appreciate the topic of Internet of Things, which is a buzzword in today's scenario. Anyway, so I think with this we can begin our session. I hope all of you are ready for the session. Correct? And okay. So when I want to start about the Internet of Things, it is very much easy to look at a block diagram or a bird's eye view of a technology term like IoT. The moment you start understanding it and start exploring it, you will start feeling the depthness. Right? So I am just presenting you a very broad scenario about what is an IoT. Now let me be very clear that there are two aspects of discussing with you on this IoT. One is the industrial IoT, that is the industrial application of IoT, and the second option, objective is to showcase on the educational content of IoT. So our focus mainly will be how IoT is going to be incorporated in our curriculum or teaching agendas, so that the students can get aware of these technologies and they can use this technical know-how, these technical skills related to IoT in embarking their earnings. So our focus will be more on the educational value of IoT. Now, when we say that the word IoT, it is basically Internet of Things. It defines that there is an internet connectivity amongst different environment or different things which are interconnected for the benefit of the humankind. Correct? So on the screen, as I am trying to show, I have divided the whole concept of IoT into 4 parts. So the first part will be the devices. So when I say devices, basically I will come to it slowly. The devices, when I say, so it means that there are certain electronic, you can say, boards, electronic, you can say, mechanisms, which are connected to different sensors. These electronics devices are then interconnected with the information source, and the data is extracted from different sensors connected to the devices, and ultimately it is used to process. It is processed to get the meaning of that data and take some corrective actions on that. Correct. So the first part of any IoT system is the devices, and our today's session will be focused on these devices. Correct. So when I say devices, it can be also called as nodes. So when you talk about an IoT system, the device part becomes very much important, because when I say devices, I mean that it is a portable device. Correct. So when I say a portable device, it has a lot of constraints. Correct. For example, if the device is portable, it will always have a power constraint. It will always have a computational constraint. Correct. It will always have a communication constraint. It will always have a packaging constraint. So there is a constrained environment or constraint, you can say, objective associated with any device. So we'll go to it in detail later. The second part is called infrastructure. So infrastructure means all the communication related setups. So when these devices are integrated, you need an infrastructure in which these devices can talk to each other. Correct? So the second important part will be the infrastructure. The third part will be the cloud or database. So you need a storage. So cloud becomes an integral part of an IoT system. And the fourth one is the data processing. So once you have a data collected onto the from the devices onto a cloud or to the storage, you need to process the data to extract the meaning out of it. So these are, you can say, the four pillars of any IoT system. Hope I am audible. Hello. Hope I am
Hello.
audible.
Yes, sir.
Sir, it's not at full screen, sir.
Yes, yes, sir, you are audible.
PPT is not in full screen mode, sir.
It is not in full screen mode.
Yes, sir.
Presentation mode.
Yeah, is it in the presentation mode now?
No, sir.
Just a minute.
Yes, sir. Now in full screen mode.
Okay. Okay, now is it visible, na?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Anyway, so I hope કે આ જે આપણે સ્ક્રીન જોઈ રહ્યા છે, probably I will try to switch between English and Gujarati. Is it okay or I should continue in English only?
Sir, your audio is not very clear. Presentation is clear, but there is some issue with audio.
Okay, now is it clear? Hello, now is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
sir.
yes.
Sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it is clear.
Voice is perfect.
Okay. See, so આ જે સ્ક્રીન ઉપર જે દેખાય છે એમાં ઘણા બધા મેનુઝ તમને દેખાય છે, કરેક્ટ? I don't want to confuse you, પણ આપણે ધારો કે કોઈ સ્વીટ શોપમાં જઈએ.
Could you please continue in
Sir.
English?
Sir, sorry to interrupt you, but audience is not comfortable with Gujarati. So please continue in English.
So,
Thank you, sir.
please repeat. What is not comfortable?
Sir, attendees might not be able to understand Gujarati, so I would request you to continue in English.
Okay, no. Anyway, see, basically, when I'm trying to tell you that these are four basic things of an IoT platform, correct? So I will just try to give an analogy. See, suppose you are entering a sweet shop and you are finding lot of different type of sweets, correct? Now you are liking all the sweets, but it is not possible for you to buy all the sweets and taste them, correct? So similarly, you have to be selective. When you are going in a sweet shop, you have to be selective, and you select that, okay, I would like to go for this sweet only. Next time I can go for another type of sweet, correct? So similarly, in IoT also, as you see on the screen, there are a lot of options which are available. Now it is not possible that you can learn all of them to master IoT, correct? Because when you try to learn all the things, it is not possible that you are mastering them. You will be only aware of so many things, correct? So to master them, you have to fix out your area of interest, or you are part of that IoT environment where you are more comfortable and you are more enjoying. So the way as Bhatt sir always starts his lectures with Sanskrit shlokas and Sanskrit verses, I have always learned from Sanskrit that whenever you try to explain a concept, you have to always try to link it with an analogy. The moment you link with an analogy, the learner starts to grab the correct meaning of that substance, correct? So similarly, when you are talking about IoT, there are so many things which are required to be mastered, but you cannot do them at a glance or at one time. So you have to divide, because see, when you are developing an IoT system, in the industry point of view, it will be always a team which is going to work. So you will find people from electrical background, people from mechanical background, correct? People from computer science background. So all these people together will form the team, and they will be working out on the IoT solution. So when I am talking about so many things here, it is not necessary that you should be knowing each and every concept of, or each and every component of this IoT subsystem. Correct. Now, since I hope all the participants are from MCA background, so I would like to focus more on those aspects which are going to be more meaningful for a learner who is having a MCA background or a computer science background or a IT background. Correct. But since my today's topic is on embedded, I would like to even focus on embedded. But I don't wish that, I don't say that you have to master that embedded part. Yes, but if you are aware of all these concepts, it can be easy. You can be a good team member, and you can contribute to the development or to the activities which are done by the team for an IoT application. So it is always better to have the knowledge about all the components which are involved in a particular system. Correct? So likewise, if you see when you talk about devices, so I think in your curriculum also you must be learning about microcontrollers and microprocessors. Correct? So the way we are being taught this particular topic, it's very theoretically taught, and we are hardly working on the experimentation involved on these microcontroller systems. So when you are talking about an IoT system which involves these microcontrollers in the form of devices, there are certain basic things which the student or the learner should be aware of. Correct? For example, if you are talking about an microcontroller system, say for example you have learned 8051 microcontroller. Correct? So if you are using 8051 microcontroller, you have to understand the certain basics of that particular microcontroller family. Correct? Each and every microcontroller is having the same structure. Correct? If you take any other microcontroller, it will be having the same structure which is seen in, or which is taught in 8051. It is like an analog. The analogy is of our body system. Correct? The internal structure of a body is same in case of a human. Correct? So there may be some differences. There may be certain changes which are there, but they can be easily isolated, and they can be studied easily. Correct? It's either on the scaling part. So if you see a microcontroller which is an Arduino microcontroller board, or if it is 8051 microcontroller board, if you see the internal of it, you will find there are certain components which are common. Say for example, each microcontroller will always have a crystal. Each microcontroller will be have oscillator circuit system. It will have a timer. It will have a counter. It will have a GPIO ports. Right? It will have certain communication channels like UART, correct? So only thing is that these parameters may have you can say they may be having more features in this. Say for example, a particular microcontroller may have one timer. Another controller may have 2 timers or 4 timers. Correct? Say some may have 8-bit timer, some may have 16-bit timer. So only the scaling will change. So when you are talking about devices, you have to first understand what a device is. Correct? How a device is constructed. Correct? Depending on that feature, you can explore that device for your IoT application. Anyway, we will come to that. So when you are talking about devices, there are a lot of new devices which are now getting popped up every now and then in today's environment. So gone are the days where the students, I mean, when we used to learn 8085, during our times. Now there are a lot of new microcontrollers and microprocessors which are available in the market, which are providing better and more efficient, you can say, performance, which can be now be used more efficiently in an IoT subsystem. Correct? So this is the important point I would like to stress, that learning of a microcontroller begins in a very typical way in our general college curriculum. But that has to change, and we have to teach our students how these microcontroller structures are organized, how they are scaled up, what are the applications of timer, how a timer is useful, how a GPIO port is useful, how a UART is useful, and so on. Correct? Now, when we go about the infrastructure, now the second part, that is the infrastructure part, may be a bit interesting to you because you fall in the category of IT or computer application areas. So when you talk about the infrastructure, we mean to say communication channel protocols, we mean to say setting up of networks, correct? We mean to say different varieties of network. It can be wired or wireless. If it is wired, you can explore the communication, wired communication like UART, like Ethernet, correct? If it is wireless, you can explore the communication channels like Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, correct? So these are the different channels which are available. So all these categories, they come in the infrastructure part. Then comes the cloud, correct? So I think URLs, nowadays all these applications are, you will see available on the cloud. So when you are talking about the cloud applications, in that case what happens is, when you are talking about cloud connectivity, you have to be very careful that the setups which you are required to be done on the cloud are to be done with thorough understanding, because ultimately your device is going to send the data to that particular cloud, correct? So when you talk about the cloud, you will find a lot of options available today in today's world. You will have Google Cloud, you have IBM Cloud, you have Microsoft Cloud, Amazon Cloud, correct? So when you talk about this cloud, you need to know a lot of things about the cloud and the connectivity associated with the cloud, correct? So I think many of you must already be involved in developing websites and all those things. So your application lies on the cloud and your database is also built on the cloud. So when you are talking about the IoT system, it is almost similar type of thing where your data and all those things are stored on the cloud. And from where do you get the data? You get the data from the devices, correct? Now these devices are again connected to further sensors or further networks from where they get the information or the data. So that data through the devices is sent to the cloud. Now when I am saying this, it is not that simple.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, are you changing the slide or is it stuck on the one page? Because
No, I am just coming to the next slide.
okay. No, actually, people are writing that sir is changing, but it is not happening. That is why.
See, basically, I will not be showing you many slides.
Okay, sir.
Sir, or a typical academic person.
Yeah, no, sure, sir.
Correct. I want to first of all embed in your mind the IoT setup, like how an IoT is built up. Okay. When I will change the slide, I will just say I have changed the slide so that it will be easy for you.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay, anyway. Then comes your data processing. And when you say about data processing, I think many of you must be aware of data processing techniques. So I am not going into detail of that. Correct? Now I am changing the slide. You will see now this is a simple block diagram I have just focused on, so that it will be easy for you to understand how a setup and general IoT setup is made. Correct? So for example, now you see the main part is the IoT gateway. Correct? Now what is gateway? Now when we are talking about the IoT system, it is nothing but the communication between one point to another point. As in the last slide we discussed that the device is going to send data to the cloud. Correct? So there is a point to point communication. So what is a cloud now? Now that is what this block diagram demonstrates. When I am saying about IoT gateway, so this is a central unit of an IoT system. Correct? Now many of you will confuse that there is a cloud also seen on the screen and the gateway also seen on the screen. So we'll come to that point also. Correct? Now the whole setup is like shown on the screen. There is something called as a gateway. Now gateway is like, for example, if I want to communicate between two computers, I need to configure one as a client and another as a server. I think server client configuration setup you are aware of. Correct? Similarly, in this IoT case also, we need to configure one part of the system as a server and another part as a client. So generally, device becomes a client where the data from the device is sent to the server. So gateway in our case will be a server. Correct? To this gateway, we are connecting different nodes or different devices. Correct? Now, these devices can be connected to the gateway or to the server, you can say, in different ways. Because ultimately, you need to have a communication channel between this device and the gateway. Correct? So, if you imagine that there are different type of devices or different nodes, these different nodes are connected to the gateway using different communication paths. Say, for example, you may connect a device using a serial interface to the gateway. You may connect through an Ethernet interface, or you may connect through a wireless interface. Correct? You can use either a Wi-Fi, a Bluetooth, correct? Or you can use any other, you can say, wireless protocol to communicate the data from the device, to communicate between the device and the gateway. Correct? Now this whole gateway can be also plugged to the cloud. Now cloud is nothing but a computer only, a remote computer. Correct? So for us, the cloud is not something very special. Cloud is something like it's a remote machine for us, or you can say a remote place where we are going to put our data. Correct? So what happens is generally these devices or these IoT nodes, they are integrated to one system. It can be connected either to a gateway or it can be connected to a cloud. Correct? So you, for an IoT application, for an IoT setup, or for an IoT environment, you need a cloud and gateway, either of it. Correct? Now, if it is confusing, I will like to make it more clear that you either need a cloud or a gateway. Now, when you are using a cloud, you have to configure your cloud, which in this case will become a remote machine. You have to configure your remote machine, that is cloud, to work as a server. Correct? So you will have to install certain tools and applications on the cloud so that it becomes a server. So that art is called as a configuration. Correct? And that is the gateway. Now, if you don't want to use a cloud in your IoT system and you want to use your IoT system in an intranet environment, you are required to have a gateway. Correct? Gateway is nothing but a replica of a cloud. Correct? So in that case, you have to configure your gateway such that your devices are sending the data to the gateway, and the gateway is also storing that data. You have to configure you have to set up database. Correct? You have to set up communication channels. You have to set up the application tools. All those things are to be set up so that the device and the gateway have a seamless communication. Correct? So either you use a cloud or you use a gateway. You need either of them for a IoT system to work. Am I clear? If there is any doubt, please interrupt me. I'm okay with that interruption. Okay. So when you see that these devices, which we call as a IoT nodes, these nodes are further connected to different sensors. Now, when you talk about sensors, you can have a lot of sensors. We'll come to that. So these sensors are basically devices where the information or the data is extracted and given to the device, and from that device or that node, it is given to either gateway or to the cloud. Correct? So basically, in this case, your device is a client and your gateway or cloud is a server. I hope this is clear, correct? In terms of your computer networking, you always need a client and server communication. So we are doing exactly the same thing in an IoT setup, correct? So you may have sensors or you may have even actuators. For example, if I want to turn a motor on, then motor becomes an actuator, correct? Actuator means where you have to perform an action, correct? So either you can connect a sensor to get the data, or you can connect an actuator where based on the data you can give the control, correct? So these things are done through a medium called devices or nodes. Am I clear? So this is how the Internet of Things setup is organized. I am changing the slide. Now I will just the screen shows that these are the certain devices, or you can say nodes, IoT nodes, which can be used for this type of applications. Now when I am showing you the screen, this screen you will see this is a very big hardware board. Now actually you see the central part, you will see one chip here, correct? So if you see the chip here, sorry. If you see this chip, the central part, that is the actual semiconductor device which we are talking about, and you can the board which I am showing you is for experimentation, for learning. So I have made it in big size so that the student can easily learn the things. But actually speaking, these devices are very small devices. And why we are choosing these devices, embedded devices? The reason is, the first thing is the power consumption, because we need to look for a device which will have a low power consumption, correct? Second thing is, it should support all the communication channels which enables it to send data to the gateway or to the cloud directly, correct? The third thing is, it should have sufficient memory so that the data can be easily processed, stored, and it should have enough computing power so that any processing of data, any arithmetic operation you want to do, any decision making you want to do, you can do it on the node itself, so that your server doesn't get loaded, correct? So these are certain boards which we are using. Now you will see on this board you have different configurations. So on the right side you will see that there is a Ethernet connection, there is a DB9 connector for UART, there is a DB9 connector for CAN. So different connections are available to it. You can even on the left side you can see that there is a USB to which you can connect external drives. You can even see the SD card. So you have a device which has got all these facilities, which can connect to external memories so that the storage can be expanded. You can have different type of communication channels on that. Plus, it should have a low power device. It should be a small footprint so that it can fit in a small space, because these devices are portable devices. Now, you will think that where will this device be fitted, correct? Now, when you talk about this application, when devices, for example, it changes from an application to application. For example, if I want to consider an application, say for example, there is a house automation I am trying to do, correct? Many of your students are already aware of house automation. Now, suppose I want to switch on the light or say switch off the light. So my device is that light, correct? So So there should be an electronics or an embedded system which should be sitting in that light or in that fan, so that it can be operated, and it should have the communication capability, so that that status of that device or status of that light or fan can be transferred to the either gateway or the cloud. Correct. So you will see, imagine that it is a portable, you can say, platform, and it needs to have a footprint which can be easily accommodated into an application part, correct, or into the device to which it has to be operated, correct. So these are the different embedded platforms which we are having. So this is one another platform. The earlier one, this one which I showed, that is basically from the Cortex family of ARM microcontrollers. Now ARM is a architecture which is available widely today, and many of these IoT applications, or you can say IoT systems, they use this platform because it has all these features like low power consumption, high, and then a lot of GPIOs. Then it has got a lot of interfacing options, communication channels. So your IoT applications can be easily managed with such type of devices, correct? So these are the families where the considerations are done. And as an educational resource development company, we are using these type of platforms so that the students can easily do hands-on and like appreciate how these devices can be configured to work as an IoT node, correct? Now to this, the screen shows that there are different sensors which we are connecting, correct? Now these sensors are connected to these devices, the devices which I showed you, correct? Now many of these devices, or many of these sensors, they communicate to the devices through different protocols. Like many of them, they can be connected to the devices through the GPIO ports. Many of these sensors can be connected through a communication channel like I2C or UART or SPI. I think, are you aware of these channels? Participants, are you aware of these channels? Hello, please respond.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I hope you are aware of I2C, SPI and those protocols.
Yes, sir. There are communication standards.
Okay, yeah, correct. So our devices, when we select these devices, we have to check that these communication standards are supported by that device or not. And the family which I showed, that is the ARM and all families, they generally have these inbuilt features which makes it very easy for us to connect these type of sensors. Now, for example, the first sensor you see that there is an alcohol sensor, correct? So you must be reading in the newspaper that many times the police department, that it conducts drives for checking if the driver is drunk or not, correct? So this sensor basically, it can be a handheld device like your mobile phone, correct? And it can be sensing sensing if the person is drunk or not, and that information can be sent to the cloud. So at the end of the day, the police department can easily analyze that how many people were driving in a drunk condition, correct? So all this integration is a possibility of an IoT, right? So our devices should be such that it can easily connect to these type of sensors, correct? Then we have got something called the dust sensor. So whenever I will just tell you an example. Recently we had an application development for some ready-mix concrete, you can say ready-mix concrete manufacturer. So they had a lot of issues with their panels, correct? So the issue was not any major one, but a lot of dust was there, correct? So because of that dust, lot of devices or their machineries, the electronic machineries, they were having problems. So just to check up how much dust is accumulated, because if the dust level increases, then it has to have a maintenance type of activity. So a simple such sensor was used to detect the amount of dust, and once the dust level was sensed and it was above the limit, it was reported that there is a requirement of a maintenance. So the system used to work very much properly. Similarly, we had tied up with one solar manufacturing, the solar panel company, where you will see when you install solar panels on the rooftop, you will see that initially you will get a lot of performance. But as the dust gets accumulated on the panels, the performance starts deteriorating, correct? So you need to clean the panel. So when you want to check when the panel cleaning is required, you can use such type of dust sensor. So in that case, what you have to do is you need to have a device which is connected to a dust sensor, which is fitted onto that solar panel, so that it gets the information about the dust accumulated on the panel, and depending on the dust amount, you can decide that now this is required to be maintained, or cleaning of that panel is required. So this basically helps in maintaining, or you can say the preventive maintenance type of activities, correct? Then we have got flame sensors, color sensors. These are different type of sensors which are used in an IoT system. Now, when we are talking about IoT system, there are two type of IoT systems. One is industrial IoT system, where the sensor almost are the same. Only thing is that their you can say their calibration part or their performance part is differing, or their standardizations are there. So they are differing. Otherwise, these type of sensors are almost common. We use these sensors in our educational activity, where the students can easily work with these sensors and try to establish an IoT system, correct? But more or less, if you see, these type of sensors are generally used to connect to these devices, correct? And when you talk about this connection, you need to have an ability to write a driver so that the device gets communicated properly, or it can interface with this type of sensors, and the data can be easily extracted from these sensors in a very calibrated way, because you cannot expect faulty data, because your whole IoT system will then it will not perform properly if your data collection or your data generation from your device is not correct. So you need to be very particular about interfacing these type of sensors to the device. So you need to have proper know-how about how the interfacing of these devices are done to these sensors are done to devices, which involves a lot of calibration. I think in today's early morning session by Bursar, he was talking about calibration things also, correct? So you need to have a somewhat know-how about these type of calibration, because suppose, for example, there is a sunlight sensor, correct? Now when I am using a sunlight sensor, it is nothing but an analog to digital conversion, correct? So when the light falls on the sensor, it will calibrate it in such a way that it will generate some digital output, correct, or some analog output. So I have to calibrate, and if this is the amount of sunlight which is falling, that means it is a daytime, correct? This is the morning time, this is the afternoon time, correct? So there is some calibration. There are certain methods of calibrating these type of sensors, and ultimately you have to write a program in these devices or these microcontrollers so that these calibrations can be easily done and you get appropriate data from the sensors, correct? So this is an important part when you talk about an IoT system, correct? Now I am changing the slide. Now here I am just showing you a picture of a gateway. So this picture must be familiar, because in our educational setup we are using gateway as Raspberry Pi as our gateway. I think Raspberry Pi is a very commonly known board which is generally used in today's time. So we have also used the same board because it is easily available. Now, as a IoT learner or IoT system learner, what is important when you talk about gateway? As mentioned earlier, when you are going to use this, it is an alternate to cloud, correct? Now, when you want to have a cloud system, correct, you have to have a similar gateway on the cloud, because all your devices are going to connect to that gateway. And when you are talking about this gateway configuration, which involves a lot of configuration of tools, which involves a lot of data conversion systems, lot of setting up of databases, So all these things are done either on the gateway or on the cloud. Correct. So the most important skill as a IT engineer or IT person in IoT scenario is you should be aware of or you should have the skill to configure a gateway. Now the gateway can be a Raspberry Pi as shown on the screen, which we use for education purpose, or it can be a cloud. Correct. Say for example, Azure cloud is there. So when you talk about Azure cloud, you have to configure your cloud in such a way that it can be useful. It can be made useful for integrating your IoT subsystem. Correct. When I say integrating IoT subsystems means you can easily transfer data from the device, which has got sensors connected to it. So data from sensor goes to device, and from device goes to the cloud or goes to the gateway. Correct. So the ability of taking the data from the device has to be managed in the gateway or in the cloud. Correct. Now for some time I will not say cloud, I will just say gateway. You have to understand that gateway is nothing but it is either a embedded hardware or it is a cloud. Correct. When you want to work on this gateways or clouds, you have to be first of all aware of the configuration part. So the skill which you need is the configuration skill. Correct. So for example, if I want to set up a database, for example, if you are collecting some data and you need to store that data in some database. Correct. So it can be either MongoDB, it can be either MS database. Correct. It can be any database which you are aware of, which your gateway, that is your embedded device or cloud supports. Correct. So all these setups you have to do so that whenever the data comes from the device, it goes into the database. Correct. Now, when you are talking about configuration of this device, it also involves communication part. For example, you have to communicate it to the cloud. Say for example, you have to have MQTT protocols. You have to implement those protocols so that the data can be converted into packets, and those packets can be sent across the client. Correct. So you have to have those type of configuration knowledge or configuration know-how when you work as an IoT system person. Correct. So this is one thing which is very important. Now coming to this, we have got one more device which is nowadays very widely used, which is called as an AI node. Now, as you see that when you are talking about these microcontrollers or these devices, earlier when I am talking about 10 years ago IoT, it was different scenario. Today it is different scenario, and tomorrow it will be again a different scenario where in terms of devices, in terms of the embedded devices. As you see, these devices are getting stronger and stronger day by day. So if you want to be relevant in today's time, then you have to adapt to these new things happening in these environments, in these IoT environments, and you have to adapt to those changes in such a way that you can understand it and start applying to these changes or these features which are available for the betterment of these applications. Now let me tell you one example. I'm just talking about some around 2000. In the year 2000, I was working with Indian Navy for some of their projects. Now they had a problem, like they had a big hooter on their ship, which used to be made on when they wanted to assemble and make their sailors assemble. So all the people on the ship used to assemble when the hooter was made on. So that was basically the purpose of that hooter. Now, as you know that when the ship is sailing, it is basically in an environment where a lot of moisture is there. Correct? So they used to have a problem of having damaging the cables. Correct? So the hooter connection, the wire which was connected to the hooter, correct, used to get damaged every now and then, and that was a big headache for them. So this problem came to us, and we suggested them that we can control the hooter, we can switch the hooter on and off using wireless communication. Correct? Now so we use a simple RFID technique. So we use a simple radio wave which was permissible in the defense scenario, and without physical connection, we could easily make that router on. Now in 2000, neither I nor the officers there knew that this is nothing but an IoT, or this is nothing but you can say an application which is going to use communication, wireless communication. Correct? We simply used the RFID, that is radio waves to communicate. So what we did is, at one end we had a device, embedded device, which was capable of receiving RF signals. Correct? And on the other end, there was another device which was connected to the router, and there was a operative circuit like relay in between. So when I used to say we used to send signal from one device to other device, it used to accept. Once it received the signal, it used to on the router. Right? Now slowly after they were very happy with that system. We got paid also very handsomely. None of them were knowing that we are doing something in the direction of IoT. I am talking about 2000. 2-3 years later, they wanted to have a monitoring that in a day's time, how many number of times the hotel was operated. Because when you are operating a hooter, that means you are assembling people there. So when you are assembling the people, there is a purpose for assembling, correct? And when the ship is very big size vehicle. So if you want to assemble, say 100 people, then it is going to disturb a lot of man hours. So they wanted to have a check that in weeks time, how many number of times the hooter was operated. So then later on, we again modified that device which was connected to the hooter, which was saving the data like number of iterations, how many times it was made on, correct? And that information was again made available to the Navy. They were very happy that they used to get a report that this particular hooter was made on 5 number of times in 3 days, right? Something like that. Even we provided them the stamping also, time stamping also, that at this number of time for this number of the router was made on. So they got information in very simple format. Another some time passed, and now they wanted to have this information at their control room. This was available only at the on the ship itself. Now they wanted to have this information transmitted to a certain particular remote location. So again, in that case, they had, and at that time the internet was not easily available, right? But later on, when the internet was easily available, and they had a lot of sufficient bandwidth also, permissible bandwidth to operate, then we managed them to get that information, and we even helped them to get that in a format, Excel format. So there were so much happiness was there, there were satisfaction was there. But till that, we were not aware that this is nothing but an IoT which we were doing, correct? I am talking about 2000 and 2005, correct? So that was a very remote time. Now if you see, everything is having automation, correct? Every information is now available on a click of you can even now get this information on your mobile phone. In that case, your mobile phone is also a device, correct? Because it is also a compact, low power device which has got input, output, which has got communication channel, correct? It can easily receive the information from the cloud, correct? So even today also we are working with the defense organizations, and today their requirements are so different, correct? They are using IoT to a very different level. But I just remember this incident because I am sharing that with you, because even in those days we were unaware of the utilization of this, and today we stand in a very different situation where a lot of features are made available. And what I feel is, in this whole process, we made a lot of money because none of them were aware of all these features, correct? Even we were not aware, but we made money because we could satisfy their requirement from time to time, correct? So the whole meaning of telling you this incidence is that if you adapt, if you keep on adapting, if you keep on using the technologies for some applications, you will start minting money from it. I'm damn sure about it, which I have been doing an
Hello, sir. Hello. Paranjape, sir. Your mic is muted. Yes, participants, wait. Let us resolve this issue. Just a second. Hello, Nitin, sir. Yes. I think sir has got network issue. He will be joining in a while. Let us wait for him. Yes, sir will be joining in a while. He might have some network issue. Just wait for a minute. I just had a talk with sir. Sir will be joining in a while. Meanwhile, we will wait for sir here.
Hello.
Yes.
Sir, whether session has stopped?
No, I had told no. Sir has got network issue. His mobile got switched off. He is now joining us back in a few minutes.
Okay, okay, sir. Thank you.
Hello,
Yes, sir.
am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, can you just help me? આપણે ક્યાં હતા કારણ કે I could not understand when this internet thing got stopped. If you can, one of you can just remind me આપણે ક્યાં હતા. Are we were on this slide or we were on the earlier side?
Sir, screen is not visible.
Is it not visible?
No, sir.
Just a minute. Huh? Is it visible now?
Yes, sir.
I am very sorry for this interruption.
No issue, sir.
Okay, so on which slide આપણે ક્યાં discontinue થઈ ગયું જરા હેલ્પ કરી શકશો મને? Were we on this slide or this slide?
Sir, in this slide, no, sir.
This one, na?
AI, yes.
Okay.
Yes, IoT node.
I was telling you about one experience which we had with the Indian Navy,
Yes.
correct? Correct?
Ha, sir.
Okay. Anyway, so I am once again very sorry for this. I'll just continue.
No issues, sir.
See, basically, when we are using these devices as a node to our IoT setup, these devices are now becoming smarter and smarter day by day, correct? So I was telling you about one more example. We were interacting with some NIT Rourkela research team for some traffic light applications. So they wanted initially to have this capturing the snaps of people who are committing faults, right? So the problem was taking the pictures and sending it to the cloud was a very big problem because it was consuming a lot of bandwidth. So things were not happening in the real-time mode. So what we did was we changed that device and replaced it with a new device which had a huge computing facility, right? So this device was used to capture the picture, and it was having the capacity of analyzing whether that person, that picture which is captured is under fault or not. So for example, it is capturing a lot of pictures. So it used to identify that picture or detect that picture which was having a fault in it. So for example, if someone is crossing the line, correct? Even if there is a signal and it's still crossing the line, then that particular picture was only captured and it was sent to the cloud or to the gateway. So by that, instead of sending 100 pictures, it was sending only one picture, or say 2 pictures or few pictures, correct? So that was the reduction we had achieved because our device, that embedded device, was so selected that it was having all the required features which was necessary for an IoT system, plus it was having a computing facility. Further, after some time, some days, they wanted to even reduce it to further. So what they did is they had a trained model into it. So they started using AI and machine learning into that. Correct. Now they had 2 options. One was to use machine learning algorithms on the cloud, and the other option was that the same thing we can do it on the device itself. So now the work is going on in such a way that the device itself can be used for doing the neural computing features, correct? So the idea is in today's IoT system, in yesterday's IoT system, we had only devices which were connected with sensors, and those sensors used to be connected to the device, data used to come to the device, and then data used to go from the devices to the gateway or to the cloud. That was a 10 years scenario, above scenario. Today's scenario is such that you are having the devices which can capture a lot of real-time data and send that data doing some small computation. They can send that data to the cloud for further analysis. That is today's scenario. And what will be tomorrow's scenario? Tomorrow's scenario will be that the need of cloud will be only for storage or for some higher computing features. But all the basic computational algorithms can be run on the device itself, correct? So that you don't have to waste your time and energy in the bandwidth, and you can do that IoT application with more ease and more efficiency, correct? Because lot of time and all those things will be saved, correct? Sending the data to the cloud and all those things will be saved. So your computational thing only will be done in the device, and the device itself will decide whether there is a need to send that data to the cloud or not. So only selective data will be sent to the cloud. So this way your system becomes more efficient, correct? So what I mean to say is, slowly and slowly the devices are becoming smarter and smarter. So as an IoT developer, from the embedded point of view, you have to have upgradation of your knowledge in such a way that all these technologies which you use, which you actually hear today, they should be easily understood, and they should be taught to the students so that they can use these technologies to cater to IoT applications of today's requirements. So we are having these type of different nodes. Now the difference between this particular slide and this node and this node, we have I showed you 3 nodes. This was a node which was used 5 years ago. This is a node which is being used 3 years ago, and this is a node which is being used today, correct? So you will see in 5 years we got 3 different options, right? Now if you see, 90% of the things are same in all the 3 nodes. 90% features are same. Only the scales have increased. The capacities have increased, correct? So what if you have learned, so for example, I actually did my graduation in 92, correct? I learned about some basic of microcontrollers, basic of microprocessor, rather 8085, correct? I never studied any other microcontroller. But as time went on, I only started studying the difference, because I understood microprocessor basics when I studied my BTech. Afterwards, whenever I came across a new microcontroller, a new embedded board, it was having only certain new features which were supposed to be studied. The older things, the common things were almost known to me, so I need not have to study them again and again, correct? So I have to only study those features which are new, correct? So we call it as an incremental learning. So if you follow incremental learning approach, or if you make your students understand how the evaluation is happening, then it is left to the student, because you are not going to teach them throughout the life, correct? You will teach them today. After 5 years, they have to learn themselves. They have to learn, or they have to be adaptive themselves. So you will see there is a sea change coming across these devices. So I will just take you to the first slide here. So when I talk about these devices, which is one of the most important factor of an IoT system, is continuously changing, is continuously becoming stronger and stronger. And as it goes stronger and stronger, you can have more number of applications, more complex applications related to IoT done in a very efficient way, correct? So coming back to our discussion, if I want to summarize this, so what are the skills if you want to learn this IoT subsystem? Then you need to have different skills. So I have just underlined some table here. So if you classify the learning requirements, then it should be the protocols which is more important, because you change the device. That today you have one device, tomorrow you will have a different device, but the protocol is going to remain the same. So you need to have the understanding of protocols properly, correct? So those protocols includes UART, SPI, I2C, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, correct? COAC, MQTT, REST protocol, IPv4, that is Ethernet protocol, and ZigBee communication. So these are the certain technologies which are required to be understood properly. And once you understand this, only what you have to learn is from time to time is that the changes which are happening. Correct? Some device will support I2C and Wi-Fi both. Some may support even Bluetooth also. Some may support Ethernet plus ZigBee also. So you have to just adapt to all these things. So we have just listed out those things as on today. If the students or the learner or the developer is aware of this, he can easily work on an IoT system. Correct? Then the second part is the sensors. Now when you talk about sensors, you will get a lot of sensors available in the market today. But you are going to be more efficient user of that sensor if you have a thorough knowledge of driver development. When I say driver development means the art of connecting your sensor to the device so that it can seamlessly transfer the data from the device to the sensor to the device and from the device to the gateway or the cloud. Correct? Then we have sensor interface. Now when you talk about interfacing a sensor, it is not that you just connect two wires to the device. You need to have some electronic circuitry also associated. So that part also has to be understood properly. From your point of view, it may not be very important because your teammate who is from the electronics background may take care of this, but you should be aware of that. Correct? I will just give an example. Suppose if I am hiring a taxi, correct? And the taxi driver, he is very much skilled in driving the taxi, correct? He is doing his job very nicely. But suppose in between, suppose the vehicle gets break down, correct? And if the person is knowing only driving, correct, he cannot make that vehicle, he cannot repair that vehicle and make it work again, correct? But if he is having an additional skill, if he is having some awareness of how the engine is working or what are the possible problems which can come, what are the solutions of that problem, correct? Or if the tire gets punctured, how to replace the wheel, correct? Then if he is having that additional skill, it may be useful to him at any given number of times, correct? Anywhere. But if he is not, if he is a very good driver, he is an absolutely fine driver, correct? But if he cannot change a punctured wheel, then what is the use of it? Correct? So if you are working in an IoT project as a team, you have to have at least some basic knowledge. You may not be a developer. He is not an IR who is always going to change the tires, correct? But if needed, he can do that. So you also as a developer has to have, your student, they have to have this skill of working with sensors. So how to write at least they can suggest the developer that, okay, I would like to have this type of driver which can give me this format of data or something like that, right? So his involvement also will be helpful and he will be awarded, correct? Then we have communication of the sensors, because some sensors are available in such a way that they will work only with Wi-Fi, they will work only with Ethernet, correct? So you should have those type of know-how also. Very important part is the calibration, as I discussed earlier. You have to have a proper understanding of calibration, because unless your sensors are not calibrated, you will not get proper results. Correct? Then you have sensor application. You should know the use of the sensors properly. Unless you know this application part of the sensor, you will not be in a position to use them efficiently. So that is how you have to be very careful about using the sensors. And you should even have some knowledge about wireless sensor network, because today scenario is such that there is no need of having physical wiring. Everything is getting slowly converted into wireless. So you should be having enough knowledge how the sensors can be connected wirelessly to each other. Right? So you need to know about mesh networking. You need to know about how point-to-point communication takes place, how from one point to multi-point communication takes place. So all those things are required to be understood from the sensors point of view. Okay, from the cloud point of view, now this might be your area of interest. When you talk about cloud, you need to know about web services. What are the different web services available? What is event management? What about the security? What about event triggering? Correct? What about dynamic allocation of your tasks? So all these things are all related to cloud scenarios. Then in the form of language, you should at least be aware of writing some C program, C++ program, You should be in a position to have a JavaScript thing, correct? You should be in a position to write Python codes. Because nowadays what happens is, hello? Yes?
वर्कशॉप चालू होतं
Hello?
IoTचं अटलचं
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Jan sir might be mistakenly unmuted himself.
Participants are requested to mute your microphone, please.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Continue, sir, please.
Okay. So you need to have proper knowledge of language for programming, because nowadays you will find devices which are capable of working with Python scripts. You can easily work with Python and Java and all those things. Even if you want to develop some apps which are based on Android, right? If your device is an Android device and you want to have an UI or interface for controlling your IoT application, you need to understand the languages properly so that you can develop these applications. And lastly, you need to have understanding of the ecosystem, which includes the architectures of your devices. You need to work with Linux related or embed related commands, then something on the real-time operating system functionalities, then OSGI frameworks, then some IDs or GNU IDs which are useful tools for compiling your programs, and lastly the new addition, that is the AI ML stuff. Because nowadays what is happening is you can always bring in intelligence to this IoT subsystem by incorporating ML and AIDL concepts. What happens is, when you work with ML, when you can write an algorithm which you can easily port to onto these devices, correct? It becomes very easy for you to predict certain things, correct? For example, if I want to demonstrate you that I want to control the temperature, correct? And if I am not having a sensor with me, so even ML is going to help me to work with an IoT system without temperature sensor to control temperature or to take decision on temperature. For example, if I have a scenario where I want to switch on the AC, correct? When certain temperature is going to be there, some temperature is record is there, I would like to switch on the AC. That is a simple application. In that case, if I don't even have sensor, I can still control that AC. How? By using ML. Because if you know that there are certain applications like AccuWeather or Google Weather, you must be aware of these applications, correct? Now, if you go to the site, if you just Google AccuWeather, you will find that this AccuWeather application, they give you a lot of data about your location on the temperature, correct? On the weather. So you will get data of around 100 days or 1000 days. Of course, it is chargeable. Now you can train your model such that your model can predict that for last 10 years on 25th January or on 25th October, what is the date and what is the temperature at this particular location. For last so many years, you will get the data and your model will be trained. And your model will be then predicting the temperature on 25th October, what will be the temperature in 2021. Correct? So depending on that, you can easily get the analysis of the data, and depending on the analysis, you can switch on or switch off your device. So your IoT application can even work without sensor if you are incorporating such AI intelligence which involves machine learning. So now your devices, your cloud systems, your sensors are becoming so powerful that you can bring in intelligence in them, which we call it as artificial intelligence, so that it can take decision on its own and you can have a better IoT system. I would like to just add one more thing, because we are currently working on one system at BARC where there is a communication to be done between a control room and a furnace. Right now, the control room is away around 800 meters away from the furnace. Correct. Now I want to transfer the data. So there is something called as a communication which I have to undertake, which doesn't have any issues with the wired option or with the wireless options. So I am looking at something called as a LoRa option. The LoRa is basically a wireless protocol where I am going to transmit the data at a greater distance, right? So nowadays even the sensors are available which can easily use or get connected to these devices supporting LoRa. So your sensor may be 1 kilometer away from your remote location, still it can communicate with your device. Your device is at one place, your sensor is at another place. Still they can communicate with each other. So these technologies are required to be updated, and slowly, once you are aware of these basics of these technologies, you can easily adapt to these new changes, and you can continue working with these IoT applications, correct? So in the final slide, I would like to conclude that what all you should be aware of. How, because you all are belonging to the teaching community, it's your responsibility for teaching all these concepts to your students, correct? So when you are teaching this, you have to see that you are making your student understand the basic skills which are required to implement the IoT concepts. So when I say basic skill, it is all around the embedded device, because you see that the device part in an embedded system is a very important part, and it is continuously changing its capabilities. So you have to have a proper understanding of the basic skills, correct? Second thing is you have to have working ideas with the nodes. So how you can enhance that? So you need to have proper writing of C codes. You should be aware of compilation techniques. You should be aware of how to flash your code to the devices and all those things, correct? Then the third point is you should have your students or learners should have a capacity of setting up of an IoT gateway. This is the most important thing I can tell you, because your gateway can be a remote gateway, that is a cloud, or it can be a local gateway, which can be something like a system on chip computer, which is say like Raspberry Pi, correct? So how to set up the database, how to make your communication protocols work, right? How to have computational things in that gateway. All those things are required to be configured to enable it to work in an IoT subsystem. So this skill becomes absolutely important when you are going to work with such a system, correct? Then you are interfacing of different IoT nodes to the gateway using different protocols, whether it is wired or it is wireless. All those things are to be properly understood. Then combination of AI technologies with Internet of Things. This is another point which is very much essential in today's environment, because today's applications and tomorrow's applications are going to heavily depend on involvement of AI. I think many of you are aware of edge computing or say inferencing. So what you do is you take a model, you do the training of that model. You train that model to detect certain things, correct? For example, if I want to detect or say count number of objects, or I want to detect whether that object is a vehicle or what, or it's a car or it's a truck or something like that, correct? So if you train that model, and that model, if you train that model properly, and if you show a picture of a truck, it will identify that it is a truck or it is a car, correct? So if you want to do that, now the challenge is how to put this. You are doing this on a very powerful computing system, correct? So if you want to put this properly trained model to a device which is very small in size, which is very consuming very less power, which is going to be useful for your IoT, then in that case, how to convert that big trained model to your small system, correct? So in that case, there is a technique called TensorRT, correct, which is basically compression of your trained model so that it fits in a constrained environment. So if you have that ability, you can directly transfer your model, or you can port your model to the embedded system, which can be used as a IoT device, so that the decisions can be taken easily. Recently, we did one application. We had come across an application where we wanted to have a counting of some objects. For example, there was a packing assembly part of the workshop floor, and we wanted to understand how many boxes are lying there. Now it was very difficult for the person to count the boxes every time. So what we did is we trained the model where the number of boxes, it was identifying the boxes and using some technique like Sobel filtering and edge detection techniques, it was possible for the model to identify how many boxes are there. So with a Photoshop, like with a simple camera snap, it used to tell that there are 10 boxes lying in this picture, right? So that 10 was immediately calculated by the trained model, and it was doing the work at an efficiency of around 95%. Right. So these type of things. So you don't have to physically count the object. It can be directly done using these techniques. So this is what is the new technology which the students should be or learners should be aware of. I think we are trying to showcase this in the hands-on activity also tomorrow, when my colleague Mr. Bhavi is going to demonstrate you how we do this counting and all those things. So it will be making it very clear that this type of application really works. You can see actually it is working in the way when you see the demonstration. We will try to make this session little bit live, because I think it's a one-way communication. Everyone has muted their mic. Only I am continuously talking to you, and I even don't see you all. Right? So it's very difficult to work in this situation. And but still, technology is making it happen. But tomorrow I am going to ask Bhavin to show you some real-time cases of IoT, which will really make you feel about the IoT and its working mechanisms, so that it will be easy for you to take these technologies to your students. Right? Then we should have working knowledge about UART, Ethernet, Wi-Fi protocols, study different sensors and their characteristics, correct? Writing of the drivers, configuration of these cloud platforms, correct? Sending data from the nodes to the gateway using serial communications, correct? And the most important thing is when you configure your gateway, either locally or on the cloud, you should be in a position to configure services like email generation, notification generation, messaging, Twitter, and all those social applications where on an event occurrence, you can just trigger these services so that you can get notified, or you can send the notification to the other end of the system, correct? Then using machine learning for IoT applications, setting up of database on clouds. So this is the part where you guys can easily come in as a MCA students, MCA graduates. You can easily work with such setting up of database. You can even try a lot of machine learning applications, correct? Then understanding and implementing various protocols. So like this, you can have a number of learning outcomes from this IoT system. And I hope that this learning outcome will be much appreciated when you actually see the demonstrations tomorrow. I hope that this is one way I can communicate to you. There are a lot of things which we have, but because there is a constraint of time, we have only simple 1.5 hour session. It is not possible for me to come out very, very openly and share a lot of things with you. But we will definitely take tomorrow's time to showcase you with a lot of examples and make this session interesting. I would like to thank Bhatt sir once again, as he has been always inviting us, involving us to do a lot of joint work with the faculties and with the students. Even a lot of students have done projects under me. Bhatt sir students have done projects under me. So a lot of interactions is there. His visionary approach is always helpful to us also. One more thing I would like to share. We have got one more company where we do ERP. I think you are aware of ERP, correct? So we have got one company which is where we have hosted one ERP on the cloud. The site, it is theerphub.com. I don't know whether I can share that with you. Just a minute. I think, can I continue for 5 minutes more? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No problem.
Yeah. See, actually, we have got one company called the ERP Hub, where we are having this ERP software developed.
Sir, your voice is not audible.
Yeah. I'm just sharing one screen to you. Can you see the screen now? Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. It's visible.
Screen dekha hai?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. See, now in this particular application, we have got a lot of, I think many of you are aware of this type of ERP solutions, correct? As you are more close to software developments, which are web-based developments, I think you are aware of this. So we have similar modules in the ERP, like the CRM, order, sales, purchase, correct? Now these are the modules which can be integrated and anyone can easily work with it. But now here the question is, we can integrate IoT in this case. So we are working now to involve in such a way that our IoT solutions can be connected to this ERP. For example, we have this transport management, correct? Now in this transport management, what happens is when the vehicle comes to a particular location, it will just give you the data that this vehicle has reached this destination at this time. So that data is entered into a database and it is accordingly shared. So in the ERP system, you can easily see that particular vehicle number, how the transportation is happening and all those things. But if I want to actually have a real-time thing, then our IoT system can be integrated in this and you will get the data on the real-time mode. Similarly, here is a vehicle management system. So in vehicle management system also, you can actually manage or track the vehicles. Now these are very small examples. Now you will see there are a lot of other modules which we are working in right now, where we are actually connecting this ERP and IoT together to have a more meaningful information to the users. So the idea of showing you this is that today your IoT system is going to integrate with a lot of other applications like ERP, where you will stand a chance to, where your learners will be having a good chance to earn their livelihood if they have these skills, correct? Now, there are some examples, some cases as I would like to share with you. Currently, we are working with some production companies where they want to use, they are actually using many of these modules. Now, what they want is that they want to integrate a production module in their ERP, which will be a real time. So on the shop floor, there are say 10 machines which are working. So they would like to know at the end of the day, how many machines are producing how much, how many batches are operating, correct? So we will be having the combination of devices, sensors and gateway in such a way that which will be connected to these machines, so that whenever the batch is executed, it will automatically count how many hours that machine was working. It will count how much production, how many items were produced, what is the packing done, how many boxes were packed. All this information will be lively, it will be tracked live, and the information will be given to the ERP, and then the ERP will take care of it. Then the end user will use that ERP to get the information, and we have a nice user interface in the form of a mobile app, so that they can easily work with. The whole idea is that at the back end, you need a lot of hardware and software combination, which can make real-time data analysis possible, real-time data collection possible, and real-time use of these systems possible, so that the meaning of this ERP or remote data sharing is becoming worth. So this is where the IoT things are currently working, and there are a lot of things I would like to add, that since we are also involving in this lot of development, any student who are interested to explore this type of activities in IoT and connecting it to something like ERP, you can just get back to us. You can get back to us through WhatsApp also. We will be entertaining students so that they can work on these systems and help us in developing that. It can be a small project, or you can say a training type of thing, which will be useful for the students also to understand how the real-time IoT systems are working, correct? So I would like to conclude this session here in such a way that you should be actually involved in getting these technologies properly interacted in such a way that whatever work we are doing, you and we together can make it happen. And it's our duty, as we are in the activity of developing learning resources. We also are now exploring the other side of it, because as this COVID situation has taught us that you cannot depend on a particular thing only, and our education business has been hampered like anything. We are seriously looking at the industry is also nowadays. So the opportunities are enormous in this IoT field, and I hope that proper and interested students who are really understanding and really interested to explore, they can get in touch with us and we can help them, and both of us will have equal benefits. So I take this session to an end, conclusion, and I thank you very much for listening to me and participating in this workshop. Also, I am very sorry once again that there was some technical lag and we lost the contact and the rhythm also. So this is how I am concluding the session. Thank you very much. If there are any queries, please start shooting up. I am ready to answer your queries. Yes. Hello.
Yeah,
Hello.
any queries, participant?
Okay. So shall we? Shall we
Yes,
end the
sir.
session?
Yes, sir. So participants, we will pause for a break of 15 minutes here, and we will be continuing in the next session with another link provided to you. Thank you
Yeah,
all.
so the next session will be done by our Mr. Bhavin, and
Yeah.
he will have a small introduction to the real-time thing, and he will even showcase you what is the tomorrow's demonstration agenda and all those things. So I hope that this session will be making you more interested in getting this IoT understanding to a next level. And if there are any queries, as I mentioned, please get back to us. You can directly contact us. I will ask Bhavin to share the details. Plus, you can also get in touch with our Bursar, who is always being our mentor as well as our guide. So you can always get back to us through him. We will definitely see how we can together interact and bring out a lot of new solutions in these IoT scenarios. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir.